All right, all right, all right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good midday, whatever time it is where you are. Just good. My name is Dr. O, and I am ready to get in the flow. So, what y'all been up to? What have y'all been up to when you tune into this live? Drop a comment. I hope you have given StreamYard all of the permissions that it needs to display your name, because I want to know who you are if you drop a comment. So figure out whatever you need to do to make sure that I can see your name on my side of the platform. Again, my name is Dr. O, and I welcome you to the Uncast, in the flow with Dr. O. Y'all, tonight, y'all asked for it. So now you're gonna get it. Y'all asked for it. So 2 weeks ago, I had some chit chat and conversation, some chit chat and confession with Connie. And it was absolutely amazing. When I tell y'all, Connie gave us the business. She made us feel good. She made me sway. I probably had a little tear that I tried to wipe to the side. But Connie just really brought some unrehearsed, unscripted, unadulterated, I need to throw that in there, and some unapologetic conversation. So we're going to flow again tonight. So I hope you're ready. I hope you are excited about whatever will come from this space tonight. And as I've said in previous episodes, I guess I should say, I just want to flow. I just want to flow. I don't have anything prepared. Connie, but she's not on yet. This is my blank notebook. So that'll show y'all the questions that I have in advance. So we'll just see what God has intended for this space tonight, and we'll go from there. So everybody, let me welcome my esteemed Connie to the stage. Connie! I love it. Woo, Connie, how are you this evening?
I am good. I am really good.
You look good, girl. I mean, it's like all kind of energy coming off your face.
Whoo, honey. It is. It's the glow. It's the glow from the work. It's what's possible when you're brave enough to do the work.
Let me go ahead and practice. Let me practice my sway for the night. I don't know if I want to just lean with it or what. Wait a minute. You say it is what's possible when what?
When you're brave enough to do the work.
I just gotta pause for a second.
Yeah.
God, that was like a jab. Like, what's possible when you are brave enough to do the work? Connie, that's amazing. So you must have been mighty brave lately, because, girl, I feel you all the way in downtown Augusta, Georgia.
Man, but you know what? So I don't remember who said it, but they're like, feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. So I'm not saying that I don't ever feel fear again. You know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna happen. That's a human response. But what I'm saying is that fear is no longer the first thing I feel.
Got you.
And it doesn't govern my thoughts. It doesn't govern my actions. It no longer governs my behaviors. And so because fear is no longer in the forefront, there's room for love. And I think I said it the last time. There's a scripture that says, "Perfect love casts out fear."
Mm-hmm.
And I was determined to know the fullness of love. Determined to know the fullness of love. Um, so my birthday was yesterday. I had a
Happy
birthday
belated
yesterday.
birthday,
Thank you.
Virgo girl. No wonder I like you so much.
And I can honestly say, like, I had not felt loved, like for real loved, since my mom passed. Like, she was my litmus test for love, you know? And I had not felt it. I of course, had relationships. I got family. I have friends. But that genuine, authentic, like, love, like, there's a power in it that I had not experienced since she passed. And I was 18 when she passed. And when I say the void that was left has been filled, and not with another person, and not with some work, and not with, it's been filled with the love of God
Mm-hmm.
and a love for myself that I didn't know was possible. So that's the glow. That's the
Girl,
glow.
we not even 8 minutes in, and I'm just sitting here like, wow. Like, that is so profound. As you was talking about, um when you said the words perfect love cast out fear, those are not just words, that's scripture, right? And so I think it's scripture.
It is.
Okay. When you said those words, I'm thinking, if something is in a space and is cast out of that space, then room exists in the space where that once was, right? And so as you was talking, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if fear is in this space, fear is going to remain in that space unless it's cast out. And that, just that symbolism in and of itself is profound to me, because perfect love casts out fear. And then to hear you say, that love hadn't been in that space within you since the love that you felt from your mother at 8, like she passed at 18, that's a very, very, very long time. But I'm looking at you tonight, and it's evident, like even if I didn't know you, and I mean, really, I still don't know you. We've had several encounters, but just from last episode till today, it's like a pronounced glow. Right? And so I'm gleaning from that. I'm hearing that, and I'm gleaning from that, and I'm thinking about the fear that still resides within me, right? Because you started with, brave, like being brave, and I had a conversation with a friend a couple of days ago, and I was telling her about all of the things that I desire to do that I have not done, right? And this is a friend, and I talk to her often, and she always said that I do so much. And I'm telling her, I have not even scratched the surface of what I feel in my heart that I'm supposed to do, the visions that I have that I'm supposed to bring forth. Like, I'm scared, like I haven't even done it. I really haven't even shown up. So what you all have gotten from me is like just the residual stuff. It hasn't necessarily been me doing the work yet. And I know that resonates with you, right? So I'm thinking, if I can uproot the fear, whatever it's grounded in, wherever it was planted at, and replace that with love. But you said not the love of a person, but the love of God, and then the love that you now have for yourself.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So how did you get here? Like, um how did that happen? How did you go from love not existing in that type of way into now, excuse me, September 8th, 2023, one day after your birthday, you can tell me about a perfect love that cast out fear? How?
Um, So it's a process. like this is it's a process, and I'm not sure exactly like when the process actually started, to be honest. um I shared, before that I did have a moment of pivot, before
Right.
in the last time we spoke. And
Right.
that was like the beginning of something. But I recently had another remembrance of something that happened. I
Okay.
had a near death experience when so maybe 20 years ago, my immune system was shutting down on me.
Okay.
And I kept going back and forth to the doctor, back and forth to the doctor, and it was like, there's nothing we can do. Like, your immune system, isn't strong enough to, to keep you here. Like, so basically, they were telling me like, your immune system shuts down, common cold can take you out of here. Like, and that'll be that. And I had gotten really, really sick this one particular time. Like, there was a cough like I had never experienced before. I was losing weight really, really fast. Like, I was literally like on my way out of here. And I remember being in the hospital and my family coming in to see me, check on me. And they were looking at me, but it's almost like there was something in me that says that they could feel that they were looking at my mom because she had already passed.
Okay.
And I was like I don't want to go yet. Like,
Mhm.
there's too much more. I don't
Mhm.
want to go. And so I had a conversation with God, and I was like, all right, I don't want to leave here. I don't want to go yet. But whatever it is that I was placed here to do, I'll do it. Like, I need you to show me. Like, I need you to show me
Mhm.
what I was placed here for. Like, why am I here?
Right.
And from there, like, that was my yes to whatever it is that I had to go through to get to what it is I was created to do. Like, that was another starting point. Like, that was another moment of pivot.
That was okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, that was almost 20 years ago, but it was more than just like a cry for help, like, Lord, get me out of this. It
Mhm.
was, I know you put me here for something,
Got you.
and I want to do that,
Mhm.
but I'm scared and I don't know what it is. And I'm on this bed and I'm helpless, and I know you the only one that can do something about it. And that's that. Like, and so every birthday that I have, that experience comes up for me.
Mhm.
And yeah, this time is different for year 47, because I am more clear now than ever to
Mhm.
know why I was placed here.
Wow. Wow. I
And
just
that's a part of the glow.
it's amazing. Like, I'm literally I've sat back in my chair because I'm literally like a sponge tonight. And that's why I love conversations with you, taking in what you're saying. And it's amazing. And I'm visual. So when people speak, I'm literally watching a story, right? So when
Yeah.
you're telling a story about being in the hospital and people like looking over you, and like I'm literally imagining. I don't know who they are, but in my mind I literally see people standing over you, and I know what it's like to look at somebody in a bed.
Hmm.
And then I'm imagining you being in the bed, going through whatever it is that you're going through mentally, and then looking at them, and then en- like encapsulating all of that into thoughts of your mother. Like, just that moment 20 years ago has me captivated, as I think about it. But then to hear how you mention the moment of pivot, and what I love about hearing you speak about a moment of pivot in that example is that I know on the last show you talked about a moment of pivot, but you were not referring to the same moment, right? And so I love that because a lot of times people think that when you like when you're on the path to whatever it is, that it's a one-time thing, and so it's like there can be multiple moments of pivots throughout our lifetime, but the key thing is to pivot in that moment. And girl, I'm telling, that moment of that pivot thing so powerful. I'm coming up, I like words. I'm like, okay, purpose. I actually think, let me see. My daughter ain't no, I came up with something the other day. I was like, Autumn, text me this. I'm thinking purpose, intention, vulnerability. I'm like going like, oh, we're gonna do this conference, right? But gosh, the strength that it takes, the love that it takes, the bravery that it takes to um say yes when you're in a situation that seems like everything is caving in around you. The moment of that got to be a moment of pivot, like a decision that, God, I don't know what it is that you want me to do, but I'm willing to do whatever it is, but I need you to show me, tell me what that is, and then help me do it. That's what I'm hearing from you, but I don't know
Yeah.
if I got you
Well,
right.
no. So I just thought about it. Like, so I would say less than a year after that, I was back in school.
Okay.
Then maybe 2 or 3 years after that, I had moved to Chicago.
Okay.
Then so it's almost like that moment I couldn't make another move until I heard clearly. So every moment after that, every decision since then has been God led. Because the deal was whatever you put me here. So it's not what I want no more. It's not about what I want. It's all about what you have placed me here for, what you had in mind when you thought about Connie Johnson coming into this earth. What did you have in mind? And every decision that I've had to make since then has been led by him. Now, have I gotten it, wrong a few
Right.
times? Definitely.
Right.
Have I stumbled along the way? Definitely. But
Yeah.
ultimately, the plan has always been to get to this place because it's all about purpose.
Right.
And purpose is all about service. So exactly, whoever the Facebook user is that's exactly what has happened. So even in those years that I'm making the decisions, like I'm wrestling,
Right.
I don't want to go to this crazy city and I ain't never been there before. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to, I don't want to do X, Y, Z. I don't want to do this because I'm gonna be by myself. I
Right.
don't want to have to say this because I know people gonna hate me for it. I
Right.
don't want to have to. So I'm wrestling because these things that God is asking of me, they ain't pleasant and
Right.
they take courage
Yes. Yes.
and they
Yes.
take faith. And I'm like, I can't see that far ahead, Lord. He's like, I know you can't,
That's
but
the
I
part.
can. But
Right.
I can. So just
Wow.
go, just do it. And that's what that moment was. That moment was like I'm not gonna get it all right now,
Mhm.
but I'm promising you that I want to get it right
Right.
from the very core of who I am.
Mhm.
I want to do what you placed me here to do.
That's so profound. I mean, I totally hear you and I understand what you're saying, because that's pretty much how I maneuver. But even in that, I don't think I made a deal with God. Like, I'm thinking about the times when I'm just like, I don't know. Well, I'll just say this. A long, long time ago, I started really saying, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not into thine own understanding. In all thy ways, right? In all thy ways, acknowledge him and he shall direct thy path. So I've been living my life for a long time as though I can't see. Like physically, I can't, if I were to be able to see what kind of life I'm living, or what I'm doing, or what I'm walking into. I've always walked blindly. Not always, but you understand, like there's been a point in my life years ago where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like when people say, well, what you do and different things, I show up on the scene and I have no clue what it means and why I'm there. And that's been going on for a long time. But even with that, there are some things that I've already had like a glimpse of that I know is going to happen, but I don't know when it's going to happen. And I don't rush those things. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like that, going back to the imagery that I had earlier when you was talking about perfect love casting out fear, there's still so much fear that resides in me, right? So as you're speaking, I'm just thinking, man, Oni, if you've been able to trust God to make this step, you already know that He got it planned out. Like what is it about the next step that you're afraid of? And I don't have an answer to that. But hearing you speak tonight, I'm reflecting on that because I want to glow. I'm not gonna say I want your glow because I don't want to take, I can't take your glow, but I'm saying I want to be more brave. I want to have more courage. And I'm looking at my notes I'm taking and have more faith. And I had a friend, the same friend I mentioned earlier, we were talking the other day, and she was like, um, are you afraid? Like, are you afraid? And I started quoting that, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear that is that we are powerful beyond might, and I really think that I'm really, if I can be, I gotta be honest. I'm talking about, unrehearsed, unscripted,
Uh-huh.
unapologetic. I'm afraid. I think I fear the possibility, and that seems ironic because I've seen the goodness that has come from me operating in fear, right? Like I know it's good stuff. I know it's good stuff, but yet I won't allow myself to go full fledged into what I feel like now he yanking me into, like own it. I'm tired of talking to you about this. I done told you, kind of like fussing at your child, come forth, come into this. And something, I won't say it has me stuck, but I need to do a little bit more work in finding, getting more of that perfect love to cast out the fear. And it gotta be the love for myself. That gotta be what I'm missing. And I'm so glad that you said that. Because yeah, I love God, right? But I think that my work is, God, I'm about to cry. I ain't got my tissue over here by me. um, Gosh, Connie, the love, the work that I have to do to love on myself, because I talk a good game about releasing and self-care and all of this stuff, all of this whatever, but I still don't think that I'm loving myself the way I need to love myself so that I can move past fear. Girl, let me just go, let's get off that and go, because I don't want to get caught, but it's almost like that, just that ideology has captivated me. And I'm just so proud and so thankful that you were able to do that work, because it's something that a lot of people never get to. You know, a lot of people never get to the place where they can look at their life and kind of look at the pain that they endured and say, "Oh, these are really the pages of my purpose." That's what it sounds like when you speak.
Well, let me share this. So I'm by default, like my makeup is giver. My last, you can have it, and I ain't even ain't even studying it.
Yes.
But there came a time when God says you're gonna have to choose, and it wasn't about choosing Him because I had already chosen Him that day on my bed on that bed. He told me to choose me and to choose purpose. And
Mm,
choosing yourself is hard when you're a giver because you can
yes.
feel guilty for choosing you. You can
Right.
feel, because once you decide to choose you, the people
Mm,
who used to getting from you,
mm.
they a lot
They
of times
cut they cut short.
they ain't riding no more. And I'm not just talking about giving of material things.
Right.
I'm talking about giving of my energy,
Mm-hmm.
giving, giving light, giving advice, giving, whatever. And since I've been in Orangeburg, I've been back home for about almost 7 years.
Okay.
And at some point, it hit me like, if I don't choose me, nobody else will.
Mm.
Everybody else is choosing themselves.
Right.
And so when you choose yourself and you choose purpose and you dig your heels in and say, if this is not going to serve my best interests, I'm saying no. With boldness and and I'll even say this, even if my voice got to shake while I'm saying no.
Like, no.
No, because that's how I went to first. That's how I went at first. At first,
No.
texting people, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to make it because I
Right.
got voice shaking. No, I can't show up at your event because I need to rest.
Mm-hmm.
I need to take care of me.
Yeah.
No, I can't, I
Mm-hmm.
can't perform at your event this time because there are things that I need.
Got
And if
you.
you're not going to be able to, pay XYZ,
Mm-hmm.
then, maybe we'll have another conversation at another time.
Got you.
No, this opportunity might not be, for this time.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm sure, you gotta choose you.
Right.
You have to. And I think a lot of time as women, we are conditioned to choose everybody but us
Right.
and to serve everybody but
That's
us.
so true. That is so true. I know I'm guilty. And I'm feeling like I was cutting myself short. It's like I'm being convicted in my mind. And it's like I hear God saying, you're not, it's not that you don't have some of this. You just don't have, I'm imagining like a frequency meter, like how, like something being real light, and then it gets bold, it gets darker and darker and darker, like the bolder it get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have some of this bravery, courageousness, and all of that stuff, but I think I want to get deeper in it, because I do a lot of stuff. I have done a lot of stuff scared, and I have said no, but I haven't said no enough. I haven't said no in all of the spaces that no should be said in. Go ahead.
So there's two sides to it.
Okay.
You say no to them, but you're saying yes to you.
Mm.
Have you said yes to you? It's easy to say no.
Hush, give
It
me
gets
a minute.
easier. It does. It gets easier to say no to others, but it's hard to say yes to you. It's hard to say yes to purpose. That's not easy. And I would venture to say saying yes to you is harder because what it does is it removes any excuse you ever gave yourself
Oh!
for not being your full self. So when I say yes to me, I couldn't say, well, they did X, Y, Z, and and then ain't no more, ain't no
Right,
more pointing no
right.
fingers, just all on me.
Oh, Connie, I think that's what I've been needing to hear out loud so that I can own the truth of it. I think that's it. I think I've been saying no, but not saying yes to me. And that part, what you just said about it, if I say yes, I don't have any more excuses. And I think I've been resting in excuses, you know, literally. I made myself a list of things to do. Like, it's some things been riding on my to-do list for a long time. Simple stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that it's like, to do it opens the door to potential that I think I'll tell myself I'm not ready for it, you know. But why? Case in point. Case in point. I, I started it, so I gotta say it. I have completed a book. I created a character, Fabium. Fabium, the affirmation parrot. Have some journals published on Amazon. But I've written a children's book. Fabium finds its colors. The book has been written, illustrated, and it's done. But I have not said anything about it. Right? I've
Mm-hmm.
not said anything about it. I sent a preview copy to a friend yesterday, and I was like, hey, I'm giving you a sneak peek, but I said I haven't announced it yet because I'm not ready. Like I felt like I didn't have time to do whatever comes with that because I'm still trying to work on, am I gonna do in the flow? I've reached out to some people. Thank you, cousin. My Ebony said, hey, a few minutes ago. Thank you. I've reached out to some people to like set up some of these conversations, right? Reached out to
Mm-hmm.
them, got their availability, said, okay, I'm gonna reach out in a few more days, and I haven't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like in the back of my mind, how you gonna all of a sudden announce a book and you got people waiting on you to do in the flow, and you got people waiting on you that you done said you're gonna do all this release stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like an internal dialogue in my mind that never stops running. And as much as I accomplish, those things that are undone ruminate. Like I'm just steady thinking about them. And I have got to move past it. And God has told me the only way that you're gonna move forward and be mobile, I'm gonna say mobile, is with more people.
Mm-hmm.
Like with more people. I told somebody this the other day. It's like I'm that cousin. Oh, I'm reading cousin and saying this, but I'm that girl. You know how when like back in the day there was some girls. I don't know if I can particularly call anybody to mind, but when a female had children back to back, like like not old people, but the talk used to be, now why she just keep on having babies,
Uh-huh.
taking care of the baby she got, right?
Yeah, he
Go
need to stay
pregnant again.
off of her.
Yes, right. I honestly feel that way about my thoughts. I call them intellectual seeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them I've given birth to, but I got a lot of children. I can't say that word right. One of my former students used to laugh every time I said the word children. I got a lot of intellectual children that stair step that are just running around that they need to be
Mm-hmm.
fostered. They need to be fostered. And because I have so many, what I feel like children that need to be fostered, every time I give birth, so to speak, to another intellectual seed, I feel like I'm neglecting a seed that I've already
Mm-hmm.
allowed into the universe. You know what I'm saying? But I have got to acknowledge that I can't stop it. I've been trying for years to stop my mind from formulating the thoughts and ideas, and I can't.
Yeah.
So at some point, I need to accept that that has to be a part of my purpose because God didn't create me without purpose, right? So, Connie, I really just want to just I don't want to stop, but I'm telling you, the last time we talked, I replayed the episode a couple of times, and then I just sat with some of the nuggets that you gave, and just your words alone are so profound and powerful, and it gives me so much to think about in my own life. And I like that because a lot of times, people say that's what I give them,
Mm-hmm.
but I need that too.
Yeah.
I need that too. So thank you for that. Your wisdom is amazing, but it's rooted in your experience. Like you haven't told me anything that you read in a book, other than the scripture you quoted. You haven't told me anything that you heard um another philosopher say. You're talking about your life that you have lived
Yeah.
and the knowledge gained from that, and that's powerful.
Yeah. I wanted to so I'm a person also. I got ideas forever. Like I got ideas forever and ever and ever. And when I first moved to Orangeburg from Chicago, this was in 2011.
Mhm.
And I got to moving. I started, I started moving and grooving. Sorry, that was 2016. I started moving and I started, making things happen. And, I'm getting stuff. I'm going to meetings. I'm,
Okay.
meeting the people and child, God said, sit down. And I literally, now this is before COVID.
Okay.
Before COVID, I had been living like COVID was already outside
Okay.
for like a year and some change
Okay. Wow.
already
Wow.
in isolation. Like it was nothing I had planned. So like God called me to stillness. To stillness. Like he and now that I'm on the other side of it, I understand why I needed that much time. There were places inside of me that were still so wounded that if I had tried to do what I was doing, it's possible I could have harmed somebody else because I was doing what I was doing from an unhealed place, unknowingly. I came from, from good intentions. The intentions were always good, but God is not going to allow your good to harm anybody. And if I would have jumped out and done what I want, what I knew he was calling me to do, like I never doubted that it was a God thing. It just wasn't time because I wasn't in that place yet to be healed, to be able to really do the work and do it effectively without harming somebody else. And that makes all the difference. Because I don't want to hurt nobody with what I'm doing. So a lot of times saying yes to God and saying yes to yourself means saying yes to going to the deepest, darkest places that are still scary. Like I recently made a post about I've talked about addiction. I talked about how, I used to smoke weed and I used to drink and I used to, club and party and all that stuff. But one of the few addictions that I rarely talk about was food.
Okay.
And I started with food addiction when I was about 8 or 9. I was molested by a female neighbor. And as a result, I didn't have space. I didn't have language to say what was happening inside of me.
Okay.
But food was consistent.
Okay.
It was plentiful. I lived with my granddaddy. He had us spoiled rotten, so anything we wanted, we could have.
Okay.
But I started secret eating. Like, so when everybody would go to bed, I'd be sneaking food and eating. And that was my way of coping with what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it carried all the way through, adulthood. Like, you know, I would always, it was, and living in poverty does something to you, to your mind also when it comes to food.
Right.
It was almost like I would eat because I wasn't sure there was going to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I'm secret eating.
Right.
And eating, and so trying to go out there to do this work without having that kind of revelation about myself
Right.
and why I do what I do and what I need to do to reverse it.
Right.
What if somebody else is out there dealing with it and I'm taking them to the buffet? you know, I'm trying to help them and I can't help myself and we at the buffet telling a child, you just gotta give it to God. Like it don't work like that.
And you still holding it.
I'm still holding on to my stuff, but I'm also not only harming myself, and that's another part of the self-love. It's like there are things that we do that we don't realize are self-harm.
Right.
Like we think self-harm, we think cutting, we think, those kinds of things. But there are things that we do that are harmful to ourselves. And when you start loving yourself, you start realizing the things that you do that are harmful to yourself. And so yeah, I once I stopped harming myself, now I'm not gonna harm somebody else in, in doing this work.
I got, I think I said this before, but I got a fountain, like a water fountain, flowing in my background. And the water is it rejuvenates me. I love the sound of water, and it's just like just something, like just it flows through me, right? Hearing you speak feels that same way, you
Mm,
know.
mm,
And it's just amazing because I see me in your words, and I'm so grateful. I don't want to. It don't matter if I cry again.
you know.
It don't matter. I'm so grateful because you are allowing me to hear some truths about myself that I won't say that I have not acknowledged, but you're presenting it in a way that it's like it's calling it forth. Like it's casting it out. Like it's,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, wow, going back to when you talked about stillness. My tears are a release that I need. I just said that to somebody yesterday. They was telling me about something. They said they felt like crying yesterday, but so the conversation was yesterday, and their yesterday was the day prior, but they didn't cry. I said, well, you need to cry because those tears are still holding on. You need to release that. So you're absolutely right. My tears are the release that I need. But going back to what I was saying, the part about stillness. See, I'm telling you, I got this stuff, but it's diluted, and you're helping me to um like make it full strength. I always think, I don't know why the example of like pink lemonade always pop in my mind, or like some of that stuff that you can buy, like the pre-sweetened like Kool-Aid and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And like you could keep adding water and it's gonna get lighter and lighter and lighter. But
Yeah.
the less water you have, it's darker, right? And so I feel like a lot of this stuff I know, but it's like I've allowed it to get diluted, right? And some stuff I just haven't come to terms in. And specifically, I'm speaking about the stillness. Like, I know for a fact that God has had to sit me down several times, but I don't have, even in knowing that, I don't ever stop as much as I know that I'm not supposed to do, like when I get into a rut and I'm just going, going, going and going, going. It's like I don't stop until I can't go. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't have no stopping sense still. And so I know I'm knowledgeable enough to know I know my life enough to know that it's gonna show up as sickness in my body, usually, but I still have been self-harming. And that's so profound because I've never looked at it as self-harm. Like you go, I mean, I remember my psychological eval a couple of months ago, and that's one of the questions, do you self-harm? Or have you, like, and they always give the examples, have you ever cut yourself and all of that stuff? But to hear your take on self-harm, I'm thinking about the fact that I get up in the mornings, I don't eat breakfast. The fact that I know my doctors say my A1C level is higher than it needs to be, but I'm still not eating right. You know, um, I'm overweight, but I'm not walking. All of the things that I know that if I just did them, sleep apnea and CPAP machine not even plugged up. And I know for a fact, I used it last night. I know for a fact I'm gonna wake up in the morning feeling refreshed when I have, like, I slept all night last night with my air up my nose. And when I woke up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had a full night's sleep. But but I don't do it because like that's self-harm. But I've never looked at those. It like you know what I'm saying? Like I know that it's harmful, but I've
Mhm.
never phrased it or framed it in the sense of self-harm. And now, like after tonight, I don't want to self-harm anymore. You know, like that's I'm cutting. I'm not taking a knife or anything to my skin, but I'm cutting, you know, and I can remember profoundly when I was at the psychologist's office and he asked me that question. I said, I said, no, I've never cut myself. I said, but I think I understand the premise behind it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I've gone through things and I just wanted to feel something, you know, and I went and got another piercing, you know, like it's like I need to feel something. So I get it, but I never have thought about the harm that I'm doing to myself, that is like the things I'm not giving myself that I need. You know, the things that the ways I'm not taking care of myself, but I'm going to encourage everybody else to take care of themselves. Like you saying, you can't the girl if you know you got an issue with eating and hiding food, you know, you're not ready to help somebody else through that. And that's the piece that I'm just like I gotta hold on to that a little bit more, because it makes sense why I don't have the mobility right now that I would want to have in certain situations, because I really feel like this next level of my life is going to be all about, I don't know. I always think, you know, every level, every time I have a birthday, I feel like I'm in the game of life and I've passed to the next level, you know, like thinking about Mario Brothers and okay, I passed that level, right? But I just feel like I know this next level is all about being unapologetic and just raw, right? But there's some pieces of me that I'm just now realizing still existed in me that I it's like this. It feels like I'm going in circles, but this is what I'm saying. When I first started what I call the release movement, I didn't call it that then, on my 40th birthday, and I just turned 44, right? So on my 40th birthday, that's when I uttered the word release from deep in my spirit. Take the mask off. Everybody that was in attendance, people know this
Mhm.
story. It was take the mask off, take the mask off, right? So that's when release started for me. But I was releasing some things that I was aware of, things that I had knowledge of,
Mhm.
hurts
Mhm.
that I had already identified,
Mhm.
right? You know, and so for illustrative purpose, it's like going in my book bag and like I'm taking out my wallet, I'm taking out my computer, that kind of stuff. That's
Mhm.
what I'm like, heal, let go, set free. You know, like I ain't worried about this, I'm not worried about that. So I thought I was doing the work.
Mhm.
But then I got to the season of my life where I'm being triggered by some things, and I know what it feels like in my body when I'm triggered, or when like if my body feels a certain way, I get tight or something like that. I know what that feels like physically, and I
Mhm.
usually want to examine like what just happened, right? But
Mhm.
sometimes it's not readily evident. And that's what I'm coming out of now. You know, going through the process of the hurts that I don't even know where they were stored.
Mhm.
I call them my mental attic. Like I didn't even know, but it's like the forgotten fragments of my attic that resurfaced that I didn't even
Mhm.
know I was carrying, like that residual stuff. And I believe that the residual stuff that I've just been working through must be what I'm going to utilize in the next season of my life. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I was just on a ramble, but all of that
Mhm.
to say, what you're saying makes so much sense. Like, God, I had to be still. So even if I wanted to get myself out there and running around and going ahead with the things that I know I am to do, I wasn't released to do those things yet.
Right.
So instead of me feeling bad that I have all of these like unfinished things and, you know, projects that were undone, and trillion Google folders of stuff. It wasn't time yet, but now it's time. And now that it's time, God is sending me to people
Mm.
who are supposed to not help me, but help fulfill their purpose,
Mm.
what they were created for, but by them just connecting with the people.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
all in his perfect timing.
Yeah.
All in
Yeah.
his perfect timing.
I know during that so I've also been in some situations with relationships within relationships
Okay.
over the last few years. And like you through our the few times we have like really interacted, like I'm jokey, like we
Mhm.
gonna laugh, we gonna
Right.
kiki, and it's gonna be a good time. And I thought that that's all there was to me, like I'm fine.
Mhm.
And I got
Mhm.
into not into a relationship, but I've been in relationships with people,
Okay.
and been triggered. I did not know that I was still carrying anger. Like I had, like literal like anger, and I thought a lot of it came from my belief system.
Mhm.
Like to be godly is to be nice. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Uh-huh.
To be, and so I pretty much like squelch that anger in me, or
Okay.
that fire that that I had. And God is like, no, I need that. Like,
Mhm.
like I need that. But the way it would come out, sis can get a little hood.
Girl, you should have seen my cap I had on yesterday. Half holy, half hood.
so, so I didn't know that that was still there.
Yeah, I
I
got
didn't know it was still there. And once it showed itself, I was like, where is this coming from?
you.
Like
Mhm.
what am I angry about? And it was like once, and I through let your listeners know, like through therapy, um worked a lot of that stuff out. Like
Mhm.
it was only through therapy that like I gave myself permission to actually feel the anger.
Mhm.
And my therapist was like, you feel it. Like you feel it, like it's working its way out in your life. It's just that you ain't trying to slash nobody tire,
Right.
because you're mad, but you take it out on yourself. That's that
Right.
self-harm. And yeah, so I there was a lot of stuff in me that I didn't know was there. And
Mhm.
it wasn't until like I was put in this position to be still that those things came to the surface, and I had to deal with them.
Right. It's like you can't put them back where, some things I think within us are so tucked that for me, that I didn't even realize that I was carrying them. But when some of that stuff come up, you can't put it back. It's kind of like I'm imagining like seeing somebody open the closet and all that stuff comes tumbling out, and you just like pushing it and trying to push the door closed. Like that stuff don't go back. Stuff
Nope.
stuff don't ever. You know, I always say kind of like a poncho or anything that comes in a package that's packed. It's easy to take that sucker out.
Yeah, how do you put the poncho? You will never get that poncho back in the plastic ever.
Yes, yes. Wow. Listen, Trelyn says that's the truth of what writer's block is. You haven't been released to venture in a certain area. So there's a blocker that God is actually doing to keep you out of a place you hadn't been released to go into yet. So at those moments, you gotta be still. You gotta be still. He ain't really. I didn't tell you. It's like a gift, like having gifts under the Christmas tree, and the child want to open it early. It's the gift, but it ain't Christmas Day yet. God,
It ain't
it ain't
time yet.
time yet, girl.
But the thing is, when it is time,
That's that glow, huh?
That's it. When it's time, can't nothing or nobody
Wow.
stop it.
Wow.
And it happens easy.
Yes.
Things that I've been trying to do for I don't know how long, it's just happening. Just because
Connie.
I showed up.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
so easy.
Yes.
It's so easy.
Yes. And you know what? The reason why I give the analogy of the levels when I turn a different age, or like I associate it with my birthday, is like I say, this is stuff I know already. Like I've had so many episodes of it wasn't time, now it's time, and then it just boom. Like oh my god, I literally can like I've had so many like this is what I saw. Like oh my god, like it's like deja vu.
Mm-hmm.
But that stuff doesn't come after I've been busy, 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 busy. It
Mm-hmm.
comes when I've just been thinking I'm doing nothing. And then it's like, okay, now Oni, like it's like God removing an invisible door or something,
Mm-hmm.
like
Literally.
now it's
Yeah.
time. Now it's time for this. That's so crazy. I had a meeting last night and it felt like that to me.
Mm-hmm.
There were some things that I had been seeing, some things I've been praying about, some things that I feel in my spirit need to happen. And the the very thing that I always thought I didn't have,
Mm-hmm.
like that's what I walked into. And it always happened like that. Um Gosh, Connie, look, you ain't telling me nothing new, but I'm acting like this brand new information, like I ain't never heard of
I
before.
don't know. You can hear the same information, but hearing in a new way.
That's so true.
That happens.
That's so true. I'm hearing it in a new way. And one thing you said, Trillian, that is so right. When you're still. I remember my whole life, my family been saying, sit down somewhere, be still. And I be thinking I am still. Like if y'all saw how fast, like I really wish I could have some brain scans. If y'all see what's going on in this head of mine compared to what you see in the physical, like you
Mm-hmm.
will know that I'm still, right? But one thing that you said when you talked about therapy and working on some things with your therapist, I realized just when I know it was Wednesday, and I know it was Wednesday because I had a therapist appointment that I had to change. So I go to therapy on Wednesdays, right? That's my day, my therapeutic day. But I had another appointment for my daughter that I could not change. So I had to change my therapist appointment. So I go Tuesday. And I feel like, on one hand, like, gosh, Oni, why you feel like you got to go and talk, like the process, what you processing, but it's something about that. I love going to therapy. But with what I was feeling that day, let me say this, because I'm dancing around it. And I'm gonna continue to dance around it because even though I'm unapologetic and all of this stuff, there's some things that I just don't want to put out into everybody's ears, right? So um I know that God has told me that I am no longer to do a certain thing, right? That He's removed me from that space.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not totally detached from that space. So imagine, and I had this image when I was doing a photo shoot, a release photo shoot one day. It was perfect. The photographer Corey, I had a chain. I see. I need to have my pictures and stuff ready. I may do a little short, and I put the picture up so people can have the actual image, right? Team, where you at? I spoke about a team the other day, and somebody done stepped to the table. I'm gonna say team again because it may be somebody else out there that know they're supposed to be a part of this team. But anyway, I had went to Lowe's and bought chain because I felt like my release symbol had the broken chain in it, and it symbolizes letting go and all of that stuff, right? So we took a couple of shots with the chain, and then the photographer had the perfect idea. He wanted to throw the chain up, or maybe his wife was going to throw it up, and then like take a shot of the
Mm-hmm.
chain like falling, right? It was going to be perfect.
Mm.
But what happened was, and we was on like this, we was at this little place, like a nature spot up on a little bridge. But what happened when the chain threw up, it fell off. And it
Mm.
fell off in a way that we couldn't retrieve it.
Mm.
Like we would have had to go way down to get it, right? It wasn't worth those little $3.
Mm.
But when that happened and it fell, it was like a true symbolic moment for me. Like, oh my God, like we break the chain, but we
Mm.
hold on to the chain,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm saying that to say I got that revelation, that epiphany years ago, right?
Yeah.
But I need to get it again tonight. I got to get it again tonight
Yeah.
because the chain has been broken, but I'm still holding on to it. So it's not that I'm bound. It's
So
not that I'm wrapped.
that's fear.
It's fear.
That's
It's
fear.
all fear. It's all fear. And I'm realizing that tonight, and it's like that song. What's the song? Oh, Masterpiece, Mona Lisa, Jasmine Sullivan. What am I so afraid of?
Mm.
I'm a masterpiece already.
Yeah.
What am I so afraid of? And I know, Connie, it's like, I know this stuff. Let me say this. I'm aware. I gotta change it and say I'm aware because I'm not acting like I know. You
Yeah.
know, I gotta, because if I keep saying I know and I'm not acting in it, then I'm gonna continue to self-harm. And I don't want to self-harm. I don't want to. Girl, Connie, where you been all my life, girl? I don't
So,
know who watching this. Okay, I'm listening. I
so I'm
see
gonna share this, and then
the finger.
I'm gonna let this be the last thing. So
Whew.
there was a time when God told me to let something go.
Mm-hmm.
He told me to let go, and I did not know. Like, I'm just gonna because I think I know what you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and you can
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong. But I started my business when I came home, and I was so excited.
Okay.
I got my first consultant, job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the job. It's going well. Some things happen, and now this is my only source of income.
Okay.
And God says go, and I'm like, say what now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, huh? He said go. Now I'm coming from Chicago, where as just like an assistant teacher, you
Okay.
making 38, 39. So and it's just me. So I'm comfortable. And God tells me to walk away from this position. And I do it. And the bottom drops out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm literally at his mercy for every need. Every need. And for at least 3 years, for like 3 years or so, I didn't like asking for help. My car, I lost my car for a long time. I didn't know if the lights was gonna stay on. I had to ask folks for groceries. I had to, and don't get me wrong, like I'm going job hunting, like I'm putting in applications. They told me I was overqualified to clean a parking lot because I applied for that too. So I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I think I'm supposed to do to provide for myself. But that ain't what God wants from me. God is saying, I want you to solely depend on me, and I want you to learn how to use your money right. You're gonna have to be uncomfortable for a little bit, but I promise you it's gonna be worth it in the end. And it was hard, and I had to trust him, and I didn't know where the money was coming from. I didn't know where the meal was coming from. I didn't know. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I sat in here without lights, but somebody brought me a blanket. you know, I had to walk for a while for where I was going to. But it's in that process. It's in that process. Not only do you get to know who he is, but he shows you who you are. He shows you who you are, because you really don't know who you are with all these comforts around you. It ain't until it ain't until that road is the rockiest thing you ever experienced in your life that you really know who you are. And now I know who I am. I know exactly who I am. I know I'm not a thief. You know what I mean? I know I'm not a hustler. I know I ain't gonna sell no coochie to get to what I need. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know, you don't know who you
Right.
are until you get desperate and opportunities come your way, and you really gotta trust them. And so I lost everything, but I gained me, and it's worth it. I'm worth it. I'm worth everything I lost on it,
Yes, yes, yes,
and you're worth it.
yes.
No matter what you gotta lose, no matter who you gotta lose, you're worth it. And the work God has for you is worth it because it's bigger. Even the way that you think, and as fast as you think, what God has is so much bigger. It's so much bigger.
Ooh, girl, yes. Oh Lord, I didn't even realize my mama said yes at the same time, and I put that up there. My mom didn't even know I was putting that up there. Mama say yes, yes, girl. This last night, this guy that I just met, he was at the meeting that I was at, and he was talking to me about a forum that I had led a few days ago, and then a couple of weeks ago. So there's been a lot of violence in our area, and a lot of school violence. Particularly, there was a shooting a few weeks ago at the high school that I've worked at for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so another community member reached out to me saying that God had laid it on her heart to do something about it, right? Like to bring the community together, in other words. And she asked, could I help? And I told her the other night, I said, I know I told you no, because when I heard, I was like, nah, I can't do it. Like involving the school and like them. I just had all of this, because of, how when you've had confidence in a system at one point, and that system has not come forth to provide the supports that you feel like they should have in place for the people that they serve, then you don't trust the system,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so those are my first thoughts. Even though she said that, I said yes, I know the hesitation that I felt, but then I also know what I felt when I thought about, okay, Oni, if there's an opportunity for you to do something that supports what you think the system is not doing, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't do it, then what are you doing? And it wasn't one of those situations that I felt like I was being forced in it. I could have said no, but I didn't feel a no. I
Mm-hmm.
felt very much a yes. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? The no would have come from a hurt place. The yes was
Mm-hmm.
coming from a place, okay, gosh, I see. I didn't realize this a couple of days ago, but the yes had to come from a place that God know I have to work through to get to the other side of this, where my healing is going to exist at. Gosh,
Yeah.
I see. So
Child,
anyway,
my
go
my
ahead.
my yes. got me right here smack dab in the middle of an election. I'm running for city council for a second time. I ain't no politician. I don't even know how to look like what.
But you look good tonight, girl.
But when I think about, especially like female politicians, I think about the suits and the
Girl,
blazers, and
that ain't never gonna be
I don't
me.
even know how to
That,
be a politician.
we're gonna have to get us some stylists or something, cause I don't know how to do that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I don't, and my like you're talking about, like my community is undergoing a lot of change right now, and my ultimate concern, and let me tell you how infallible God is. So I went through all of that discomfort so I can experience what people been experiencing.
Mm,
It wasn't until I had to go through it that I understood what the majority of the people in my city are going through.
got you. Yes,
And
yes,
now I'm running
yes,
for city council, and ain't nobody talking about these people.
yes.
That's we raising taxes. The utility bills are
Mhm.
going up, food costs are going up.
Right,
And everybody's getting raises. You know what I'm saying, that work within the city.
right,
What about everybody else? Like,
exactly.
how's everything going up? But
Right,
people's salaries,
right.
and like, it's a lot going on right now. Like, this is
Hmm.
a pivotal moment. The district that I live in is like one of the most important districts. Like,
Okay,
I'm in the center of the town,
got you.
in the center of the town, and I've been walking this street for 2 years.
Wow,
2 3 years I've been walking my neighborhoods
wow.
to get to do what I need to do, so I understand what's happening on a ground level.
Yes, 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 yes. You gotta be
And
on the ground.
here he goes. Talk about going and run for city council. Do what, sir? do huh? Say what you said.
Girl,
And so here I am. And so that's why I
wow.
say, like,
I hear
and
you.
and whether I get elected or not, I
Right.
know that my service here is to say what nobody is saying.
Yes, yes,
Whether I
yes.
get voted in or not.
Because that ain't
That's
what you going. That's
that's
it's not even why you showing up for
no,
it. You're
no,
not showing up for the vote.
no, no.
Yes, 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 yes.
Mm-mm.
Totally resonates. Totally, totally resonates. Because anybody know we're alike in so many ways. I don't want to be out front. Like I don't want to be in the spotlight, but I also cannot not.
Not.
I cannot not. I cannot be at a table when everything that's being said is not right, and I'm mute because I want to remain. Like I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I I feel like that's been my whole life, but God dog it on it. That might just be what you're here for. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that won't open their mouth and speak truth. It's a lot of people that know that's not right. They know the people hungry. They know all of this and that, but they won't step up. Connie, there are people like I don't want to now I feel like I'm ready to fight now. But people who are in positions, and a position ain't never meant snips to me. Because half the time people can't tell you what my position is anyway. A title ain't never fit. It is never fit. I don't need it. I don't want it
Mhm.
because it will limit. Like we don't need this stuff. Like you said,
Yeah.
you running for city council not because you want to be a politician and you want to be known for a politician, but you running for city council because of the work that need to happen because you've been on the ground.
Yeah.
And not only have you been on the ground, but you know what it's like to be in some of the situations that you're going to advocate for.
Yeah.
So again, you're utilizing your lived experience to lead you and to guide you and to show up in your work. And
Yeah.
some people in positions they don't even know what it's like. they ain't never been, don't even know what it look like on the inside, what it feel like to put your feet to the ground. I was
Yeah.
thinking the other day, and we got a lot of comments about we need to show up as we are. Don't worry, we don't even have to worry about how we gonna look. Julian say y'all look amazing just as you are. My mama say, be you, be real. I wish
Yes,
you could
ma'am.
call, I wish you could call in because I could just hear that. Leanne says, you've got my vote, Connie. There are people out here who need us to speak up. And I think about, yes, Trelane, I'm gonna fight. I think about all the times that I I felt like I wasn't being heard. And I that was the line that I had in the play, they didn't hear me, but what I realized is they didn't hear me when I wasn't speaking, right? It wasn't that they didn't. Sometimes I can't be heard because of what I don't say. And I've
Mm-hmm.
been guilty a lot of being quiet, right? I say a lot, I speak out a lot, but there are some times when I haven't spoken out that I feel like I should have spoken out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hurt that I feel, where that I felt like something happened in March. That's the hurt that I felt, like all of the times when I should have said something and I didn't. And then
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the times when I did say something and the people didn't take action. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the stuff that pisses me off, when people don't take action, and it pisses me off, and it makes me think. I thought I was gonna end. We don't have no time frame. I
We
was
don't.
watching the time and I was like, okay, we're gonna keep this to an hour, but this is coming up, and I feel all the fire in me. But it's like I've seen far too many situations where the victim of a thing is the person that is targeted, but the person that does the act or commits the offense, they get a pass. You know what I'm saying? It's no wonder people don't tell stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think about, and I say this openly. I've never, God, I don't want to open up stuff and then leave it open. So
Yeah.
some stuff I don't want to get into tonight. We'll have to do another conversation. So I'll just keep it broad. There's a lot of people healing from childhood traumas based on things that somebody that they loved
Mm-hmm.
did to them,
Yeah.
right? And either they told it and they were told not to say anything, right? Or they were ignored, or they told it and they were made to feel like it was their fault, or they didn't have a place to tell it, And there could be some other dynamics, other
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But it pisses me off when it's told and it's obviously clear,
Mm-hmm.
and the people who are in positions of power, let me change that, authority,
Mm-hmm.
because you can have authority and no power.
Yeah.
I just want to snatch them down. Don't do anything about it.
Right.
Like I can't understand it for the life of me, and it happens far too often. And I guess it takes people like us getting pissed off about it to
Yep.
raise the awareness about it, that other people see it and they ain't saying nothing. But maybe they're not saying anything because they've tried to so many other times before. Like, I don't know why,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I'll be honest, for me at this point, why don't even matter.
Okay.
Like it's too much at stake right now. Like it's just too much at stake. But I really feel like we're at a very pivotal point in our history
Mm-hmm.
where the decisions that we make now, probably within the next maybe 4 or 5 years, are going to affect and impact generations to come.
Wow.
So whatever work I'm doing, I'm always thinking. I don't have any children of my own, but I have a niece
Okay.
who's 13. I think about like what kind, like what work am I doing? What can I do
Powerful.
while I have breath in my body that's going to impact positively
Got you.
what happens with her and her children and their children and their children.
Powerful.
There's a lot at stake right now. And for those of us who are aware, of what's happening,
Mhm.
it's time to speak. It's time
Yeah.
to say something.
Yes. 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 We gotta speak. We gotta speak.
Yeah,
Just say something. you
say
know
something.
say something. And when I say something, at the youth farm we were facilitating the other night, I was speaking to the youth that were there, and I was saying, even if you feel like you cannot articulate it with your mouth, write it down and pass it to somebody that's not afraid to say it out
Yeah,
loud.
yeah.
Because some people won't ever speak if they have to be the person holding the mic.
So I think what happens is we think that we're speaking alone.
Yes, Connie.
But
Yes.
if enough of us start speaking together,
Yes. 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 Yes.
then it's not like I'm just saying this, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's feeling or experiencing or observing what's happening. Because what I'm observing is impacting not just my city, but it's the nation. And
Right.
then we can look at it, and the same things are happening globally.
Right.
So if enough of us are speaking the same thing and we're speaking it together, then we can really make change. And I think that I think those who have, like you said, authority bank on our silence.
Yes, they do.
They
Yes,
bank on
they
our
do.
silence.
Yes,
They
they
bank on the
do.
fact that we're going to remain silent. And that because if you remain silent and I remain silent, but we experiencing the same thing, nobody, I don't know that you're
Right.
having the same
And they don't
experience.
have to act. They don't have
Nope.
to act.
Nope.
Girl, that's profound. They don't have to act. And then girl, I'm so glad you said that. Cause I'll get the hush mouth. And hush mouth ain't what I need to get. Like I done said it, they ain't hear me. No, I need to find somebody else who can say it with me instead
Yeah.
of me not saying it at all.
Yeah.
Being on one accord, like Trelyn said, because I know the more we do this, like even what we're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
just speaking authentically, and bearing all and telling our truth out loud, that opens the flow for other people to feel comfortable in doing the same.
Yeah.
And it's like people can connect on common experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love what you're saying about, just you ain't say don't hush, but keep talking and get somebody else that speak the same language who can say what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Tell their story, talk about their experience in the same situation or what have you.
Well,
um
and a part of the genius of what you're doing is you're creating spaces for people to speak.
yes,
So sometimes people don't even have a space
that's
to,
true.
to say their piece. And so what you're doing is actually powerful, to give someone a space and an opportunity to speak and be heard. That's powerful within
Thank
itself.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do, because I that's what we need. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we need. And this is one of the things that I was talking about. I feel like I wasn't showing up for, but I finally, so I can work through fear. I finally said, I know for a fact that I've been called to create space, right? That's one of my number one purposes, is to
Mm-hmm.
create space for other people to be seen, heard, value. Remember, before we did this, we said we was gonna talk about those three things: seen, heard, and
Yeah.
valued, right? Um, and the more I do it, not only do I get something out of it and I feel better, but it opens up space for other people to feel seen. There's
Mm-hmm.
some people on here tonight who don't even live, like I'm in Augusta, you're not in Augusta. We're in two
Right.
different states right now,
Right.
right? But just by us having a conversation, there are people all over. I don't know where this will end up, who can hear us speak and say, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should say something about that,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they didn't hear me, but maybe that doesn't mean I have to be silent.
Yeah.
Maybe it was falling on deaf ears. And really, we say things like falling on deaf ears kind of cliche, but some ears are physically deaf.
Can't hear
They
at
can't
all.
hear,
Yeah.
right? And so, and I did an episode with Roger Bogart, And I was talking about the situation that happened to me, and I got this monkey with his ears covered, and he was like, "Why that monkey?" Because I was like, "Yeah." When I was in the store, they had one with the eyes covered and all of that stuff, and I was like, "Well, gosh darn it," because I didn't feel heard, and it was about a monkey, right? But I didn't
Uh-huh.
realize the depth of why I chose
Mm,
that monkey. All I knew is that I needed to reframe it. I needed to reframe my experience into something to recognize the purpose of it, not just the pain of it, because I feel like
yeah.
it's purpose attached to every pain. I
Yeah.
know that, right? So, but I had to realize some people simply can't hear,
Can't hear it.
and some people can hear and they refuse to acknowledge what's been said.
Yeah.
And it's very important to acknowledge the difference. Listen, I want to say this. I want to say this. I wish I had an image to go along with it, but I want to do a series. Got an idea for it. Started working on the flyer. Probably fell asleep, put it to the side, still on the to do list. But I want to do a series about unveiling stigma. I got a perfect title: Unveiling Stigma, Eradicating Change.
Mm,
Right. And I want to just talk about stigma,
mm,
different groups of people that have been stigmatized, judged, whatever, and what it would take for us to turn that stigma into change. Right.
mm.
And so that's one of the in the flow dialogues that I want to, where I said I was going to do it next Friday and hadn't put out the first invite. But if and Connie, I don't look, I'm so glad, we connected today, because I want to say, Connie, you want to flow. But if you're watching this and you have felt stigmatized in whatever way, you don't have to post it in the comments. But if you would inbox me, or maybe you can email me. Let me see, Dr. Poe. In the girl, I done created an email.
Come on.
Girl, yeah. Email me. Um Dr. Poe in the flow at gmail.com. I want to talk about stigma. I want to talk about how we've been stigmatized in our lives. I mean, stigma as a Black person, as a woman, as an educated female, as a person from the country, whatever. We're stigmatized against in so many ways, and that causes people to kind of just suffer in silence in a lot of ways because of the hurt that comes along with that stigma. So that's
Mm.
something I want to do. I'm going to put out the information soon, within the next 48 hours, but y'all know I be in the flow, so that may be 72. But it's no time frame on it. It's just something that's been put in my spirit to do. I just want to continue to have these conversations because I think they're so very important. Connie, thank you. Thank you. What else? Is there anything else you got for us tonight before we get out? Girl, you be spitting the knowledge, girl. You be spitting the
Um,
knowledge. What else you got for us?
Nothing. Just take care of you. Take care of yourself. Love on you. Choose you. And let the
Yeah,
chips fall where they may.
man. Because they're gonna fall where they fall anyway, right? We think we have so much control of this thing called life, and we don't.
Mm, no.
Sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. We still got a couple of people watching. So Trelyn say straight dropping science. Before I close us out, if there's anybody out here that have any last minute comments or any thoughts about tonight's show, please drop them. Stay connected with us. Connie, let me see if I still got your information. Oh, the first thing that come up. Connie is on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at I am Connie 40. I am Connie 40. And look, y'all, I just created a page in the flow with Dr. O on Instagram and Facebook. So look for that. Check out In the Flow with Dr. O on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And YouTube. I just been putting it out, girl. I just been tinkering away. I'll say I'm gonna plant the seed. You sometimes we think we got to plant the plant. No,
Yeah.
plant the
That
seed.
speed.
plant the seed. So I'm gonna start marketing this thing in the flow with Dr. O, and we just make it do what it do. Thank you so much. Yes, Trillin says this is a series. Connie, we've been
Mm.
said that this is a series. Favor, my birthday twin, says I enjoyed it. My mother says love this show. Thank you,
Hey,
Mama Cicely.
mama.
Thank you. And Trillin, I love you so much. Thank you for being you. Connie, Trillin been rocking with us every show. She done caught the
I see it.
replays. She been rewinding it back. Like
I
that's
love it.
love. That's love. I love it too. So y'all, we're gonna get off, and I'm not gonna hold Connie all night. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Mama said, "Hey, Connie," she's speaking back. Y'all, Connie said, "Take care of yourself. Take care of you." Look, and what so many nuggets that I've gained tonight, but stop the self harm. Stop the self harm. I literally may not do it tonight because I need to sit with it for a minute, but I'm literally kind of gonna create an entry in my journal with a list of all of the ways that I feel like I'm self harming. I
Mm,
really need to think about that in depth.
mm, mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All of the ways that I'm not loving on myself in the way that I deserve to be loved on,
yeah.
in the way that I desire somebody else to love on me. Trillin is creating some spoken word pieces.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yes, she's this girl is bad. This girl is bad.
I
So
love it.
the moment of pivot conference is coming. Connie, we'll get together and we'll just work it out. I look, y'all listen. Me and Connie both have said we not about the show. I'm not about putting on like if you come to something that I do, you're not gonna get all of that decoration and all of that fancy frill stuff. I don't do that stuff. But you'll get some real raw, unadulterated flow. And that's just the way it gotta go. So we're gonna get out of here. I keep talking, I'm prolonging the time. Y'all, we love y'all. Connect with Connie on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're gonna be out of here. Y'all take care until next time. And remember, stay in the flow. Love y'all. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.